4, 3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is recording.
Studio Classroom. Studio Classroom.
Please stand by.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello and welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. Your English will improve today. And my name is Gabe. I'm very happy to be one of your hosts here on the show. Now here's a question for you. Have you ever been driving on the road when another driver did something really rude? Yeah, that happens to a lot of people. Maybe they were driving too carelessly, and maybe you have been a rude driver before. Well, the title of today's lesson is Common Courtesy While Driving. Whether you're on a scooter or driving a car or taxi, a bus, or something different, it's good to exercise common courtesy. What is common courtesy? Well, Michelle will discuss that with you very soon. And then we have much more to learn. So let's get started.
Common courtesy while driving. Is it really a big deal? Peter and John use different forms of transportation to get to work. Peter likes to ride his scooter, especially when the weather is nice. But if the weather is cold or rainy, he takes the bus. John thinks driving his car to the office is convenient. That way, he can get to work quickly, no matter what the weather is like.
Hey, Peter. How was traffic this morning?
Traffic was really terrible today, John.
Why? Did something in particular happen?
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 这篇文章的第一个重点，我们看 courtesy 这个名词。courtesy 在这里是指礼貌，是一个不可数名词。common 就是指一般或普通的，所以加在一起 common courtesy 就是指基本或起码的礼貌。例如 Don't talk while you're chewing, it's common courtesy。吃东西的时候不要说话，这是基本的礼貌。或者是 You should at least have the courtesy to say sorry if you hurt other people's feelings。你如果伤了别人的感情，至少要道歉。courtesy 也可以指礼节，这个时候它就是一个可数的名词。例如 Diplomatic courtesies are important for showing respect to the representatives of other countries。用外交礼仪来表达对别国代表的尊重是非常重要的。接下来我们看的是 transportation 这个名词 ，trans 这个字首有越过的意思。port 这个字根有运送的意思，所以 transportation 在这里是指交通工具，是一个不可数名词。例如 Public transportation is very cheap and easily accessed in Taipei。大乘交通工具在台北既便宜又方便。或者是 There are many means of transportation to reach to this resort。许多交通方式都可以到达这个度假中心。Transportation 也可以指运输。例如 There are certain safety procedures for the transportation of flammables。运送易燃物品有特定的安全程序。
Thank you, Michelle. Well, friends, let's get right into our lesson today. Common courtesy while driving. Okay, so common courtesy, of course, is a very good phrase to know. It's very important to have good manners no matter where you are, whether you're just talking with people or if you're driving down the road somewhere. In any area of life, it's good to have common courtesy.
That's right. And because it's common, that means that most people know about it. They know how to do it. And courtesy just means to be polite and show respect for others. So it's not a hard or difficult thing to do. So we're going to talk about common courtesy while driving Is it really a big deal?
Now, we've talked about that phrase before, a big deal, here at Studio Classroom. That means, is it really an important thing? Do people really disagree on this so much? Well, this is the question for us. Is it really a big deal to have common courtesy? Peter and John use different forms of transportation to get to work. That's right, a lot of people use different forms. I am like Peter. Peter likes to ride his scooter. I also ride my scooter. Carolyn, what form of transportation do you use? Do you have a scooter?
I do not have a scooter, but I do have to take transportation to get to work. I take the MRT or the metro.
Okay, the MRT. And it looks like Peter might also take the bus if the weather is bad. But before we move on here, let's take a look at that word real quick, scooter, okay? It's in your word bank. We wanted to talk a little bit about the usages of the words scooter and motorcycle or motorbike. Right?
That's right. Those are two different things, right, Gabe?
They are. You just saw a picture of a scooter. Here's a picture of a guy on a motorcycle, okay? So you can see they even look different. There are many little differences. One thing that comes to my mind is that a scooter has a floorboard in the front. And so you put your feet in front of you, whereas on the motorcycle, your feet are on either side of the vehicle.
That is a major difference. Now, if you go to the U.S., you won't see a lot of scooters unless you go to a beach town. It's very popular for tourists to rent scooters and ride them around the beach, whereas motorcycles can be seen on the roads in pretty much every part of the country.
That's true, okay? So a motorcycle, of course, is generally bigger and faster, okay? It goes from 150 cc's usually all the way up to 2,000 cc, whereas a scooter is usually a lot slower, right? So 50 cc to maybe 250 cc's is the scooter range. Okay, there are other differences. You can look it up, friends. But just to let you know, I often refer to my scooter as a motorcycle. So sometimes we use both words when talking about a scooter because they both have that kind of engine. It's not just like riding a bicycle. And so, do you have a scooter? Do you have a motorcycle? Talk about that in English.
A great idea. Now, we read that Peter likes to ride his scooter, especially when the weather is nice. But if the weather is cold and rainy, he takes the bus. Now, John thinks driving his car to the office is convenient. That way, he can get to work quickly, no matter what the weather is like.
And that is a benefit or an advantage to having a car. Although I don't like driving a car in a city like Taipei because, man, you might come up against a lot of traffic, right? So that's why I like riding a scooter. However, the rain can be a problem sometimes. Well, friends, let's take a look at this phrase, no matter what. He can get to work quickly, no matter what the weather is like. That means in any condition, so no matter what. In Chinese, you might use the phrase 不管怎么样, right? So no matter what the weather is like.
And that's a great phrase. I might say, you know, I have this really important deadline and I'm going to meet that deadline no matter what. So I'm going to get it done.
Excellent. Now sometimes we might replace the word what with like if, right? So I'm going to see that movie. No matter if other people come with me or not, I'm going to watch that movie. Think of another way to use that phrase. But let's get into this conversation. John says, hey, Peter, how was traffic this morning? Traffic was really terrible today. And John asks, why? Did something in particular happen? And that's another phrase we want to talk about here. In particular. Here in this lesson, it means specifically. What happened? Can you tell me more details?
Details are very important with this phrase. In particular, maybe you are in a store and you don't really have anything in mind. You're just kind of looking. A shopkeeper might ask you, are you looking for anything in particular? No, I'm just looking.
And that's a great question for you to know in English. If you are working in a shop like that, are you looking for something in particular? Well, right now we have something very particular for you, of course. Here at Studio Classroom, we have the Info Cloud.
Hello friends, welcome to InfoCloud. Today we are going to look at an interesting term, California stop. This can also be called a rolling stop.
This is a type of driving maneuver. You might see someone do a California stop when they are going through an intersection. In fact, you'll know it's a California stop if they don't stop at the stop sign.
That's right. The unique thing about a California stop is that the car doesn't actually stop. Instead, the driver approaches the stop sign or stoplight at the intersection, slows down, and continues driving without making a complete stop.
So, why is it called a California stop? Well, many people in California are in a hurry and find coming to a full stop at an intersection to take too much time, especially when there are several intersections with stop signs that they need to drive through.
So instead of stopping at every intersection, cars will simply slow down and continue driving if there are no other vehicles coming.
Now, California is not the only place that people do California stops. In fact, many parts of the U.S. have their own names for this driving maneuver, such as New York stop, New Orleans stop, Hollywood stop, or simply City stop.
在美国开车会碰到许多 stop sign 停车标志，你必须将车子完全停下才能够再次前进。但是很多人因为没有耐心，根本没有完全停车，只有慢下来而已。这种停车方式就叫做 California stop， 加州式停车。为什么要叫做 California stop 呢？只有加州人会做这种事吗？其实不是，每个地区都有不遵守交通规则的人。这种停车方式的名称也会随着地区改变，像是到了纽奥良就变成 New Orleans stop， 纽约就是 New York stop， 或是好莱坞就是 Hollywood stop， 是不是相当有趣呢？就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome back to Studio Classroom. The lesson is common courtesy while driving. In our conversation today, we have Peter and John, and it looks like something bad happened to Peter while he was on his way to work on his scooter. Let's find out more about this conversation now.
Common courtesy while driving.
The car in front of me wanted to turn left, but the driver didn't use his turn signal and stopped suddenly in the intersection. He almost caused an accident.
I'm glad there was no accident.
Me too. People need to use some common courtesy when they drive.
What do you mean?
For starters, people should use their turn signals properly. That helps others know what you plan to do.
I don't know. Using turn signals doesn't seem like a big deal to me. Drivers can pay attention to what's happening on the road and respond accordingly.
Alright， 继续我们看的是 intersection 这个名词 ，I-N-T-E-R 这个字首有了两者之间的意思 ，S-E-C-T 这个字根是指切割，所以 intersection 在这里是指十字路口或者是交叉路口。例如 The car broke down in the intersection and blocked traffic。这部车在十字路口中抛锚，阻碍了交通。或者是 You're advised to slow down when going through intersections。经过十字路口时，请要放慢速度。Intersection 也可以指交叉点，例如 The intersection of the two lines on the graph marks the start of the recession。这张图表中两条线的交点就是经济衰退的起点。最后我们看的是 accordingly 这个副词 ，C-O-R-D 这个字根有一致的意思，所以 accordingly 是指相应地 或照着。例如 ，After listening to our supervisor's suggestions, we changed our proposal accordingly. 听到上司的建议事项之后，我们就比照办理，将提案做了修改。或者是 knowing that the typhoon will impact their town, the people took precautions accordingly. 知道台风将影响他们的城镇之后，人民就采取了因应的预防措施。如果去到字尾的 ly according 后面加上 to 的话，它是一个介系词，意思是指根据。例如 according to the survey, men spend more time watching sports news than women do. 根据调查，男性比女性花更多时间看体育新闻。And now let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you very much, Michelle. All right, so Peter's next line here in this section is, the car in front of me wanted to turn left, but the driver didn't use his turn signal and stopped suddenly in the intersection. Okay, so John had previously asked, did something in particular happen? Well, now Peter is giving the details. This is what happened. The person in front didn't use his turn signal. Has that ever happened to you, Carolyn? Does that bug you when people don't use their turn signals?
Oh, it does, and it happens all the time. People will be driving and suddenly they just make a turn and they don't use their turn signal. Now, there are a couple different names that we use for turn signals, right?
You're right about that. So we wanted to talk about that here. There are different words you could use as well, friends. Okay, so you just saw a picture of a car and the turn signal was on. So that light, that is the light that indicates which direction the car wants to go. Okay, if he wants to go into another lane, he needs to tell the people behind him. He does that with his turn signal. Another word is blinker. Okay, so you might say, hey, turn on your blinkers if you want to let someone know, or that you should let someone know which direction you'll turn. Now, if you're in England, they might use the word indicator. And I've heard this word also in the United States. That's another word that means the same thing because you're indicating which direction you want to turn.
Exactly. So whether you use turn signal, blinker, indicator, they all mean that little light that flashes on the side of the car to let other drivers know you're going to make a turn. Now, this driver didn't use their turn signal and instead stopped suddenly in the intersection and almost caused an accident.
Oh, that's pretty terrible. Car accidents are terrible. There, of course, are big car accidents, minor car accidents. And friends, we want to teach you a phrase, and that is the phrase to get into an accident. Now, there are different kinds of accidents in life, right? Like, for example, you might slip while walking in your house. That's also getting into an accident in your house. However, friends, if someone uses the phrase, he or she got into an accident, and they don't specify what kind of accident it was, they're probably 99% of the time talking about a car accident.
That's right. It's that specific usage, get in or get into an accident. You might hear someone say, oh, he got into a bad accident. That means a car accident, most likely.
That's right. Unless they share more details, maybe it was another kind of accident. You should share more details about that. However, that is a good phrase for you to know, friends. Someone got into an accident. I hope that didn't happen to you or anybody recently, but now you know this phrase. So how does the conversation continue here, Carolyn?
Well, John is glad that there was no accident. And Peter is too. Peter says people need to use common courtesy when they drive. And John's a little confused. He says, what do you mean?
Well, Peter says, for starters, people should use their turn signals properly. Let's take a look at that phrase there at the beginning of the sentence, for starters. This is a fun way to begin a sentence, especially you use this phrase when sharing the first reason for something. Maybe you have a lot of reasons in mind. This is how you'll share the first one. For starters.
And you could use this as a way to compliment someone that you're meeting. You might say, wow, you look great today. For starters, your hair is fantastic.
Excellent, Carolyn. Well, John continues this conversation. I don't know, using turn signals doesn't seem like a big deal to me. he doesn't think it's that important to use turn signals. Drivers can pay attention to what's happening on the road and respond accordingly. And I know that's how a lot of people feel here in this city when they are driving. They just don't really seem to care about the people behind them.
That does seem to happen occasionally or more often than not. But right now, it's time for us to enjoy the SC Challenge.
Friends, for today's SC Challenge, we have a duo whom you've seen before. Let's have them introduce themselves. And as you do, answer this question. Do you drive? So let's begin with you.
Well, my name is David, and I'm very happy to be back. Do I drive? I do drive. I don't drive in Taiwan, but I drive in America because if you want to go from one place to another, sometimes you have to drive.
That's true. Well, how about you?
Well, my name is Hazel, and yes, I do drive. I drive a car, I drive a scooter, and sometimes I drive people crazy.
Well, we're not going to drive anybody crazy here today. We have 3 questions. They're all from the lesson. You can find the answers there, friends. See if you can do that as fast as possible. Number 1, how does John get to work? A, he drives a car. B, he takes a scooter. C, he rides a bus. Or D, he flies a plane. David?
I think he rides a bus.
You think he rides the bus?
Yes.
Well, Dave, you're wrong.
I'm wrong.
Hazel?
I don't think he flies a plane.
Nope.
Does he drive a car?
He drives a car to work.
Yes.
A is correct. Okay. Number 2, who almost got into an accident? A, Peter. B, Peter's friend. C, John. Or D, John's friend. Do we have yes, Dave?
Peter's friend.
Peter's friend?
Peter's friend almost got into an accident.
Oh man, Dave, you are incorrect again.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Well, let's see. Is it
Do you have a guess?
one of John's friends?
Not one of John's friends.
John?
No, David.
Peter?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So many names, so
Got
many
it.
friends.
I know,
So many
I know.
friends, so many names. Anyone could have gotten in that accident.
That is true. Anybody could have gotten into an accident.
Could be you or me or...
And friends, I know you had that answer right away. Now, right here in the studio, it is 1-1. Let's see who gets the final answer. Fill in the blank. Peter thinks that people should use their what properly? Their blank properly. A, turn signals. B, rear view mirrors. C, engines. Or D, gas pedals. Hazel.
A, turn signals?
People should use their turn signals properly. You are correct again.
Yes.
Whoa, you are really amazing.
Well,
Thanks.
It drives me crazy how good she is.
you're both really amazing. You guys did a great job. Hazel is today's winner. Friends, that is all the time we have for today's SC Challenge. Well, friends, we learned some great words and phrases in today's lesson, like turn signal, blinker, to get into an accident. Those are all good, but my favorite phrase is right there in the title, common courtesy. It is important to exercise courtesy, to be a courteous person. We have more to learn from Peter and John's conversation next time, right here on Studio Classroom.
A friend endures at all times. A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.